Hello children, good morning. Let's begin with the new poem The Champa Flower written by the great poet Rabindranath Tagore. Who was Rabindranath Tagore? Do you know this? He was a great Indian poet. He started writing poems in his very early age. He is still a famous poet as he wrote thousands of poems, short stories, songs, essays, dramas, etc. Both he and his works are famous all around the world. He became the first Indian poet who received the Nobel Prize in 1913 for his great writing named Gitanjali. He was also a philosopher, a painter, and a great patriot who composed our national anthem titled as Jana Gana Mana. So come on children, let's learn and recite the beautiful poem The Champa Flower. The Champa Flower by Rabindranath Tagore. Supposing I became a champa flower just for fun, and grew on a branch high up that tree, and shook in the wind with laughter, and danced upon the newly budded leaves. Would you know me, mother? You would call, Baby, where are you? And I should laugh to myself and keep quiet, quiet. I should slyly open my petals and watch you at your work. When after your bath, with wet hair spread on your shoulders, you walked through the shadow of the champa tree to the little court where you say your prayers, you would notice the scent of the flower, but not know that it came from me. When, after the midday meal, you sat at the window reading Ramayana, and the tree's shadow fell over your hair and your lap, I should fling my wee little shadow onto the page of your book just where you were reading. But would you guess that it was the tiny shadow of your little child? When in the evening you went to the cowshed with the lighted lamp in your hand, I should suddenly drop onto the earth again and be your own baby once more and beg you tell me a story. Where have you been, you naughty child? I won't tell you, mother. That's what you and I would say then. By Rabindranath Tagore.
As we are all aware, Rabindranath Tagore is a great poet who wrote the national anthem. Now, in this poem, let's read and understand what the poet wants to tell us. The Champa Flower. Supposing I became a champa flower just for fun and grew on a branch high up that tree and shook in the wind with laughter and danced upon the newly budded leaves. Would you know me, mother? Now, here in this stanza, the child who wants to imagine herself as a champa flower. Here in this in this poem, the child wants to play a new role of a champa flower. It's a make-believe. Now here, the child says, suppose I became a champa flower just for fun, and the flower is right on top of the tree, high up that tree, and with the wind, when the whole tree shook, what is going to happen? The child says, I would laugh. Why? Because the child is very, very happy. and danced upon the newly budded leaf. Why? Because when a new leaf comes on a plant, even we, when we grow a plant, we are so happy to see a new leaf on the tree. Similarly, this child also is joyful and so feels like dancing on seeing a newly budded leaf. Here, and she has a question to ask. Would you know me, mother? The child wants to know when the child becomes a champa flower, would mother know her? Would mother recognize her? The next stanza. You would call baby, where are you? And I should laugh to myself and keep quiet, quiet. I should slyly open my petals and watch you at your work. Now here in this stanza, baby is saying, you would call, that is mother would call baby, where are you? And when mother calls, where are you? What would the baby do? The baby would laugh. How will the baby laugh? Very quietly. And the baby says that slyly, that is in a secret manner, the baby would open the petals of the champa flower and watch the work which was done by mother. The next stanza. When after your bath with wet hair spread on your shoulders, you walked through the shadow of the champa tree to the little court where you say your prayers, you would notice the scent of the flower, but not know that it came from me. Here in this stanza, the poet is expressing a morning time where the baby says that when mother takes bath and she comes, because she says that the hair is spread on her shoulder, that means mother is drying her hair, and as she walks, the shadow of the champa tree would fall on her mother. And to the little court where you say your prayers. It's very sure that mother would say her prayers after she takes a bath. And at this time, the baby says, you will surely feel the scent of the flower. And the baby says, but you will not know that this aroma, this fragrance of the beautiful flower came from me. The next stanza. When after the midday meal you sat at the window reading Ramayana, and the tree's shadow fell over your hair and your lap, I should fling my wee little shadow onto the page of your book, just where you are reading. But would you guess that it was the tiny shadow of your little child? Now here in this stanza, it is afternoon, it is midday, and after the midday meal, the sun is overhead, it's hot, and as mother sits near the window to read the holy book, the Ramayana, the shadow of the tree falls on the hair and on the lap of mother. And the baby is saying, I should fling my wee little shadow. Fling means throw. I should throw my wee little shadow means very small shadow. Because it is afternoon and the shadow is short at this time. So the child is saying, I should fling my wee little shadow onto the page of your book. On the page, that is where mother is reading the Ramayana, just where you were reading. But again the child asks a question and says, would you guess that it was the tiny shadow of your little child? The next stanza. When in the evening you went to the cowshed with a lighted lamp in your hand, I should suddenly drop onto the earth again and be your own baby once more and beg you to tell me a story. Where have you been, you naughty child? I won't tell you, mother. That's what you and I would say then. Now this last stanza tells about the evening time where mother goes to the cowshed. And she has a lighted lamp in her hand because it is dark at that time. And suddenly the child says that though the child wanted to be a champa flower, by evening the child wants to drop down on the earth again and be the child herself, a baby to the mother. Once again. Why? Because she loves the stories which her mother tells her every day. And the child is going to say that, "Where have you been, you naughty child?" is what the mother would say. And the baby would say, "I won't tell you, mother." And the baby again is telling each one of us that that's what you and I would say then. So it's a beautiful poem written by the great poet Rabindranath Tagore.
I request you all to watch this video carefully, recite and write the poem in your class workbook, draw a picture related to the champa flower, write the difficult words and their meanings in your notebook. So, thank you. Take care of yourself. Have a nice day ahead.